right, well, welcome to another episode of Behind the Grind. I am your host, Sherrod Schuler, and I am so excited to bring you another podcast episode. Now, with this episode, I had to get in my bag with this episode and do something a little different. I had to go back to my hometown and go back to my backcourt mate back in the day when we played ball and get my guy get my guy onto the podcast. Now, let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. You know, as I said here on Behind the Grind, we want to give you a variety of flavor of the grind, right? There's different types of grind. And so today, we're going to give you a variety of behind the YouTube grind, right? And so my guy, the guest that I have in the grind seat today is no stranger to being in front of the camera, his life being taped. He been doing some embarrassing things at times, right? Getting caught on camera doing some things that many of us might feel a little embarrassed about. But we're going to go there today and ask him about this grind, the YouTube grind. So without further ado, let me welcome all my Behind the Grind family. Let me introduce you to my guy, Raleigh Ford.
I'm doing good.
How you doing, Raleigh?
It's good to be here. It's good to connect with you. And talk and laugh. I'm doing good. I cannot complain.
Man, I'm so excited, man. It feels like back in our backcourt days, as I mentioned earlier, man, those times, in practice and on the bench, right? And on the court, right?
Right.
You know, those laughs and those moments, the highs and the lows, the wins and the losses, right?
That season was a season full of ups and downs.
A lot of ups and downs. We went through a lot that season, but it was just, this like moments like this that we can laugh about it now, right? During those times we didn't think we could come out.
It was hard. It was rough, man. I learned so much from them days. That's helped me in my life at this point. Even at this point, pushing yourself. You know how Holiday used to do. He run you till you think you can't run no more. But it was just all in your mind.
Yes.
Once you got to that point and realized you could get through it, you realize you could do it. And now that's helped me in my life now. When it get really hard, it's just it's only for right now. Just push through, and it's sunshine on the other side.
Man, for real though, man. I remember those moments, and we won't dwell here for our listeners too long. They probably don't know what we're talking about, but we remember those Vikings and those what the world may call suicides, but we call them Vikings and them Viking moments, and a lot of times we would practice without the ball. You know what I mean? Meaning we wasn't doing a lot of scrimmaging.
This is what I remember. If you don't play no defense, you not playing. So you learn all the defensive concepts the first 2 weeks. You learn all the defensive concepts.
Right.
If you didn't get those down, you can hang it up. You ain't getting in because you got to defend somebody. Can I say one thing that I remember? Because remember, I was the smallest guy on the team, so I'll never forget. I will never forget when we would come out. As soon as the crowd would see that sweet, sweet red and gray. And I was the first one because I was the smallest one. They would go crazy.
Crazy. I was right behind you though. That's why we have this bond to this day. You were the first. I was right behind you. We would run out there, and that crowd in those city games was so hyped back in the day. The Flintstone games, all of the legends, as we would say today, the Flintstone legends were all in the mix during that time. And we would just come out on the Northwestern's court, Northern's court, Southwestern's court, Central's court, all of that. And just, it was just a hype time during that time. But, those are memories that we can only hold on to.
Right. I got so much from them days, though.
Yeah, man, I'm looking at you now. Speaking of those days, man, you haven't changed a bit, man. You had the beard back in the day, and you still got the beard today.
Everybody always teased me. I didn't have no beard in high school. I just had the stash and a little bit of that. But I know it just seemed like you did. Everybody teased me and say, Yeah, you've been having that beer since the 6th grade, all kind of stuff. People be killing me. I did get like facial hair
Man,
early, but
you did. While the rest of us was drawing it on, and to this day, I have to kind of fill in the blanks to this day, man. And you had it all along, so we was all a little envious. Now you had this baby face, but you always had the had
that's
the beard
funny.
going, man.
That's funny,
Crazy.
man.
But yeah, today let's get into some conversation. Like I said, those are good times. I know there's things that we could go, and we will
Right,
continue to talk about that
right,
offline, those memory
right,
and those joy days. But today, I wanted to bring you on, man, because I've been seeing you. You know how you scroll through
right,
Facebook and you see, your people, right? And they out here doing their thing. And I think I was scrolling through one day, and I looked up and I saw you standing on the Steve
Oh
Harvey show or
yeah,
something, right? And I'm like,
oh
what's
yeah.
going on, man? What was
So
that
that
about,
was
bruh?
like that was just a blessing. So for our first year
Yeah.
anniversary in 2017, we went out to Los Angeles. My wife, she used to live there for a
Yeah.
little while, and so she kind of knew the area and things like that. And so she wanted, we both
Oh
like
wow.
put things together. Like I got us tickets to go to the LA Clipper game. She got us in, end
Okay.
up getting on the Steve Harvey show. And the way it worked was she
Wow.
called to just find out what was the process on just being on the show to watch it, right? So it went from that some
Right.
kind of way.
Right.
She got in contact with his, I guess, I don't know, PR person, a person who yeah, that who
Like
puts the
publicists or
show
something, whatever
together
they
and
call them.
stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Talking to my wife,
Yeah.
she found out that we did YouTube. She told her about some of the pranks. She went to our page. She seen our page. She loved our pranks. So initially, it started out that they were going to try to
Wow.
prank me on the show, but it's hard to get me. I'm like, what you
Yeah.
talking about? So they scratched that, and what we end up doing was because his PR person loved our channel, loved the stuff that we had done up to that point.
Yeah.
She was like, Steve is gonna love you guys. So the gist of the thing
Wow.
was we end up getting on the show, and it was a great experience.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to tell you is this: understand this about television. Nothing
Okay.
goes on television without it being planned. So before I got up on the
Okay.
show, they rehearsed with me
Yeah.
at least 5, 6, 7 times till they made sure I had it. But it was just a great experience. Steve Harvey is a
Yeah.
really cool person and things of that nature. Um, but it was a great opportunity.
Man, I thought that was dope, man. Like I said, you skip it through. You're like, wait a minute, is that little
Right.
Riley?
That's
As
what I
as
thought.
we would say, little Riley out there on
Yep, that was it.
Steve Harvey. And then, so at this time, let me just be real with you. I didn't even know you had this whole world opened up on YouTube. You and your wife were doing, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is how life is, man. We didn't realize you out here doing your thing
Right.
on YouTube. You and your wife have this page that is very successful, and it just shows you
Yeah.
guys' life,
Yep.
just shows the
Yep.
things that you're doing, and of course, it looks, I'm sure to us, right? It just looks like you guys are just recording it as it is. Not saying that anything is planned, but it's a lot that is in. I imagine that's into that. Is that true? Is it a
Yeah,
lot
it's
uh, putting into
right.
to putting a
It
YouTube
is.
channel together
Now,
and
the
being
thing is,
successful?
like, I shared with you before, my wife is the mastermind behind this whole thing. This was
Okay.
her baby. When we got married, she asked me
Yeah.
to be a part of it, kind of like go in the direction of a
Yeah.
family channel. But yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah.
planning. Um, it's not just a shot in the dark.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's not just shot with the
no. Now we
iPhone, right?
started
Just like
out.
just
We
throwing
started
something
out
up on
with
the
the
iPhone up.
iPhone, and I'll tell
Okay.
anybody listening, if you want to
Okay.
start, you can start with your iPhone because they make these phones. They have great cameras on them and things like that. And you can start with
Yeah.
that, and you can do all your editing on your phone and upload. But as you grow, you
Yeah.
do want to get better cameras and things like that. And so over time, we were able
Yeah.
to get better cameras and things of that nature. But yeah, you can start out with an iPhone, and
Hmm.
those some of them early pranks, like like one of the best pranks we ever did was she did on me, and she got me, and y'all would love to see
Yeah.
this was the police prank. That was something we talked about on the Steve Harvey show.
Yeah.
And Steve couldn't believe what he said. You
Yeah.
did what? And your husband is a black man, and you had the police pull y'all over. What is you thinking? And sure enough, and that's one of the best pranks. It was original.
Yeah.
She used it with the iPhone. That's when we was recording with the iPhone. We got
Wow.
pulled over. I was mad. So if y'all want to see,
But you weren't a part of this prank,
no,
right? You
I
weren't
didn't even know what was
you
going
didn't
on.
part of the planning process.
I was getting ticked off because we were supposed to go into some place, some furniture store or something, and she
Yeah.
missed the turn. And I'm like, what's going on? What are you doing? Then she pulled into this gas station, pulled back around, turned around. I said, why are you doing all that? Then what happened was then the police lights come on. And I'm like, if you wouldn't have been driving erratic, we would not be in this situation. And so,
Yeah.
and you can go and see there. I was pissed, and I got clowned on social media for that too. So,
Man, bruh. I mean, it's that one is good, but you know, first off, before we go too far, what is the
uh,
name of your channel? What is the name that people could go and connect to and
it's
see all of these
Raleigh and
pranks and
Angie.
so forth?
Raleigh and Angie. It's
Okay.
RALEIGH and Angie ANGIE. You go and
Yeah,
yep.
we'll put it in the show notes, but yeah, Raleigh and Angie. But the one that we talked about the other day, I think is the classic prank, right? And we'll get
Yeah,
on to some
yeah,
other topics here, but the one, you know, we're in Flint. We know the environment in Flint. You're at Walmart. Tell us about the
yeah.
Walmart
So
prank,
this was the
man. What was
thing,
that about?
my wife said, "Hey, let's do these fake proposals. People will love them." And I'm like, "You sure?" She like, "Yeah, let's do these fake proposals. This how we go do it. We're gonna go to Walmart. You're gonna make it a big deal." So what I did, y'all, I come into Walmart, I get her some flowers, I get her a bear. I go to the managers, one of the managers. I say, "Hey,
Now you guys are
yeah,
married at again. You
yeah,
guys are married at this time.
we
But
have
go
been married
ahead.
like 2 years. We have been married 2 years by this time." And so what the thing was is to pretty much prank everybody who's a part of the prank and don't know they're a part of it, and then to get reactions. The funniest thing is the reactions, that people, how they
Yeah.
respond and things like that. So pretty much what happens is
Right.
I go in there. We had a person recording for us for this one, and he's following me around. I
Right.
start the day off talking about it, how I'm so excited. I say this is my girlfriend for a couple years. We got a couple kids. I'm ready to marry her. She's the girl of my dreams. All this setup, right? So we get to Walmart. I go online. I'm talking to the cashier, like, yeah, I'm getting ready to propose to my longtime girlfriend. We got 2 children. I go up front. I let them know at the service desk. So I go to the front of the store, y'all, where people is checking out. Anybody who live in Flint, Corona Road, Walmart, that Walmart be on jump. Be on
On jam,
Saturday too.
right? Everybody, your
Now
mama
I ain't
goes to
going
that
on Monday.
Walmart.
I went on a Saturday, y'all. We went on a Saturday. I did not go on no Monday. We ain't hardly nobody in there. I went on there on Saturday in the day with people shopping, getting their food for the weekend. Go up to the front of the store, have the ladies call attention over the loudspeaker, over the whole store. She's like, hey, if I can have you all attention to the front of the store, we have someone that's gonna do a proposal today. Let's support him. In
In
Walmart,
Walmart.
at the front at the checkout line. So I walk up to my wife, who is, I'm saying, my girlfriend. I get on one knee. She said, "What are you
Right.
doing?" I said, I felt like, this is where I met you. I felt like this would be no better place than to propose to you right here. So I get on my knees and I say, girl of my dreams, will you marry me? And she's like, no. Why did you even do this? I was like, well, I thought it would be great, for us to, for me to propose to you. We've been together, we have kids together. She's like, no, what are you doing? Why would you do it here? And I'm like, well, this is where we met, and she's like, And on top of that, you don't even have a job. And she walks off.
Oh
If you would have
my
seen people's
goodness.
faces and responses, and you had people with their camera phones out recording it on
Going
live
live.
Facebook, this thing went viral in the city. Went viral. I had people making fun of me, like, "Oh man, this guy over here proposing to his girl in Walmart, and she said no." So yeah, the people love that. That prank went viral in the city.
Man,
It
that is
was funny. We got a good response.
yeah.
It was great.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. These pranks that you guys now, so you guys now not only just do pranks, but what is interesting, obviously, like you mentioned, you've gone viral, but you guys also do on your YouTube time. It's just, it sounds like she conversates from time to time,
Yeah.
and the kids are involved. Your whole family is
Hmm.
involved with the show. So let's kind of shift a little bit and talk about that, right? I mean, let's be real. You guys are opening
Yeah.
yourself up to the world. How is that sharing your life on YouTube? You know what I mean, and just the practical day to day life and all of the things that come along with it, and pretty much exposing yourself.
Well,
How is that?
uh, I mean, for me, you look at it. One thing that I've learned from it is that really you help more people than you realize and then you know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, to see
Uh
positivity,
huh.
not to see negativity.
Right.
People love our kids, uh, so much so that
Yeah.
they send our children gifts for their birthdays, all types of things. It's just amazing.
Ah.
It's amazing. There's love in the world, whether people realize it or not.
Yeah.
And it's more so, at
Yeah.
first for me, it took some getting used to. I'll be honest. I had to get used to it. I wasn't used
Yeah.
to it. Uh,
Yeah.
but once I
Right.
seen how things were going and what this was really about, I was
Mm-hmm.
fine with it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
of course, you got to put on the things that's positive. And so that's how I look at it. And
Yeah.
I realize that we're helping a lot of
Yeah.
other people uh, that's watching and things like that.
Man, you really are. I think I think that's the key. It's so refreshing to, like you said, a positive show, husband and wife, beautiful kids. You guys have some beautiful kids, man, and just to see you as father, right, interacting with your children, man, that is just it's a it's a phenomenal look, and it like you said, it's refreshing. It's positive. It's not. It's nothing negative about it, and so I think that is necessary. Like you said, it's not just something that you're doing just to be doing. You're actually
Right.
serving people. It's giving people hope. It's giving
Right.
people. So as we can tell now, man, you're doing your
Right.
father thing, man. You're always showing yourself with there and doing your father thing and fathering. It's like daddy
Right.
daycare going on right now,
Right.
even like now, right?
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. And so you're
Yeah.
used to this. You're used to this, which it sounds like just with that being said, are the kids always
You
up
know,
for it? When you guys are
and see,
recording and
that's the
doing the
thing.
family thing.
They're not. That's another job. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's more so like when it comes to pictures now. You know, you got one person
Ah.
want to cooperate, um, and then the other person doesn't. But then that person all of a sudden they want to cooperate. Then the other person doesn't want to cooperate. The baby, we kind
Right.
of really honestly, he has been the easiest baby out of all three of them. He's the easiest. Like
Right.
right now, he
Right.
made a little noise like
What's the age range, if
3,
you don't mind me
2,
asking?
and 10 months.
Okay. Okay.
No,
Sorry
it's
about that. I
fine.
just wanted.
It's fine. So, but yeah, he's really easygoing. The older two, they can be easygoing too, but now they have the things that they want, and they want them now. They both can talk really well and express themselves really well, and so,
Right.
but yeah, it's a challenge at times.
Yeah.
Just like with anything else,
Yeah.
it's a challenge.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking about it. I think I might have stumbled on a video or so, and I think your son was and your wife, which is just a beautiful interaction. But I think he was having some challenges about wearing his underwear or something of that nature. I don't know.
Yeah, so we're in that stage with him right now, and we're working with him. with the potty and things like that. But he's fighting us on it. Uh, but
Yeah,
right,
he
think
trying to be
about
the
it though.
man in the
I
house,
can't
right?
get too mad because my mama told me I was the same way. I was terrible at it actually. So I'm like, more so, I'm just looking at myself and dealing with myself. Different, younger. I'm
Getting it
getting it
back,
back,
getting it
man. So
back.
I really can't get uh too mad at him about the situation.
Yeah,
Um, I guess the
yeah,
biggest thing here is that uh, learning that it's a stage. It's just a stage and it'll
yeah,
pass.
yeah,
And that's one thing I can say that I've
yeah.
just learned, and I am still learning about being a father with my children. That is, it's
Mm-hmm.
only a stage. It's only for a short time, and then they'll be moving on to something else. So you
Yeah,
new fathers out there,
yeah,
keep that in mind. And I'm
yeah,
speaking to myself when I say this.
yeah.
Try to be as patient as you can, because
Yep.
my mother and my father was patient with me, had a lot of grace for me. And
Yeah,
just remember, it's just a stage, and they'll be past it, and then they'll be on to something else.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't
you
get this
don't.
time back. I know, of course, you guys are recording
Right,
it, which is beautiful
right,
that you're able to document and
right.
record these moments, but you don't get this time back. And so, yeah, you want to be in tune. And like I said, it what's beautiful about this experience that you guys provide for us. You guys are doing it together. It's a together
Hmm.
thing. It's a family thing, which all together is beautiful. That your children will
Right,
always have this memory of their parents
right.
really involved with them, and actually
Yeah,
document it,
and that's the
which is
thing my
beautiful.
wife always says is like
Yeah.
she wants to, uh, just have these moments and these memories
Mm-hmm.
for forever. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times that's why,
Yeah.
we record pretty much everything, every
Yeah.
birthday, every
Yeah.
holiday, everything is
Mm-hmm.
as far as, the milestones and things of that nature. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is which is cool, and I think about it. Back in our day, even times now when I go to my mom's house, every now and again, if you introduce, like when my wife got married, my mom put out the album book, and we were able to
Right.
go back and
Right.
remember this moment,
Right.
that moment. So all of this is good, like nowadays
Yeah.
that with technology, that you can actually go back and really
Right.
archive moments in life, which again, like we said, we'll
Right.
never get this stuff back, but we could definitely go back to those moments, which is beautiful. Now, with that being said, if you don't mind me asking this question, do you and your wife sit down and discuss what you're going to show and what you will not show, or is it just,
Well, of course, you
kind of?
always, there's an understanding of, between this what
Mm-hmm.
we will show and what we will and won't
Yeah,
show. That
yeah,
at the same time, whenever you say you're gonna get in front of a camera, record yourself, and put it out there for the world to
yeah,
see, you definitely don't want to put,
right,
you know, the wrong things out there because our
yeah,
whole thing is that we want to
yeah,
be positive. We have so much negativity
right,
already in our world, in our
right,
society, in our communities, and things like that.
right,
We more so, we want it to be positive, and so yeah, definitely.
yeah, yeah. So speaking of positive, which is great, it's a great thing. I know there's from time to time you guys have gone viral several times with different videos. I can just tell by what other people do when
Uh
they
huh.
do this type of stuff. There has to be some times where you get negative feedback or negative comments. How do you guys handle that? How do you help? As a husband, how do you even help your wife when if
Yeah,
that happens?
definitely.
Like, how
What
does
I
that
always
work?
say is this: you got to remember, when we put ourselves out there, you're gonna have somebody that's not gonna like you for whatever reason.
Right,
And that's how I
right.
tell her to handle it. That's how I handle it. I understand that people are not gonna like you,
Mm-hmm.
and so hey,
Mm-hmm.
it's just a part of life. They don't like me, they don't like me. But the thing about it is, when you really look at the issue and deeply, you say, well, why wouldn't somebody like me when
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing something positive or I'm doing something good? So that's
Right,
that lets you know that that person may
right.
have some issues and things like that, and you can't. Yeah,
Their
you
own
can't.
personal
The thing
issues.
is, you
Yeah,
can't uh, blame yourself for someone else's own personal issues. Somebody you don't even know,
yeah,
when they want to give you negative
yeah,
feedback or say something
yeah,
negative about you. If they don't know you, they see you on camera
yeah.
for whatever reason. You just keep it moving. That's that's my take on
Yeah.
it.
Man, that's good. I mean, again, like I said, this is all refreshing. It's all good stuff. But so I'm going to shift a little bit too. You know, I do also know that you are a pastor, well, associate pastor, I should say. And so tell me about, you know, we always thought, you
Uh-huh.
know, I guess, I think I kind of peeped it
Okay.
out a long time ago. I kind of figured you were going to go down this line of
Yeah.
pastoring of some sort. How is that? How is this life of being a pastor, also slash YouTuber,
Well,
right? How is
initially,
that, man?
some of the old school people who think a certain way, some people didn't like it or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. The main thing for
Mm-hmm.
me was my wife asked me to be a part of this. I said, yeah, I would do it to help her and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But for me,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm being myself. I'm not doing anything
Yep.
um, that's not me. In my past, when I was in college, I used to
Mm-hmm.
play pranks, and I wish I was doing YouTube then. I don't even know if YouTube was around, but
It wasn't around in our day, man. Let's just be real. We
I
didn't have
I
it.
was doing pranks in college. Give me one more
Yeah.
second. I think the show went off, and
Sure.
I just got to get it back going for him, and then we should be cool, smooth sailing. I'm sorry, and I won't
Yeah, we
forget
good.
my thought where we were going. Hold on. Okay, I'll get it back on for you. Okay. All right. So, um, pretty much, you saying, doing pastoring and things like that, ministering. That's the main thing. So initially, my father is still the pastor officially and things of that nature. And so I'm pretty much helping out during this time during the pandemic. Uh, my dad wasn't as tech
Mm-hmm.
savvy and things of that nature, and
Okay.
he needed me to step in and keep things going. And so I said definitely
Yeah.
because what I understand is it's a calling on my life. I never forget. It's interesting that God reveals things to you at an early age. Sometimes you don't really want to be
Yeah.
receptive to those things because some people mistake and they think they see a lot of really famous pastors who make a lot of money, things like that, and
Right.
a lot of people
Right.
criticize those pastors because they may feel like they're not doing everything they can do to help their community, and rightfully so. If you have millions of
Mm-hmm.
dollars and really what the ministry is all about is improving people's lives and helping them, as Jesus
Right.
is our example, he would what Jesus would always
Right.
do, a concept that I learned was that Jesus would meet somebody's physical need first, then they would see that they had a spiritual need for
Come
him.
on.
So healing the person who was blind,
Yeah.
healing the woman with the issue of blood, raising the dead, all these different things. Once he would
Mm.
meet their physical need, then they would see their spiritual need for
Mm.
him. And I think it's the same thing today.
Mm.
If you have the ability to meet
Yeah.
somebody's physical need with the resources that you have through your church, you should do that.
Mm-hmm.
From that, then in turn, people will
Mm-hmm.
then see, oh, um, maybe I should start coming here. Maybe I should be a part. The whole thing about it is to, if they don't know Christ, or, some of us plant the seed, some of us water the seed, but God gives the increase. So God is the one who makes the final
Right.
change in that person's life. But all in all, what I was getting back to trying to say is that, God, He called me at an early age. Um, and at the time, I wasn't ready to do it because I was so young. And ultimately,
Yeah. At about what age,
I
if you
feel
don't
like
mind me
I knew.
asking,
I,
about
I'll
what
tell you
age do
this
you
funny
feel?
story. When I was about 12 years old, I
Okay.
love basketball. And I love basketball. I
Yeah.
started dribbling the ball when I was 3 years old. And so picked it up and started dribbling. But the main thing is, I would say when I was about 12 years old, my aunt and uncle asked me, "What do you want to be?" I said, I want to be a basketball player, but I said this, but I know God's going to make me
Of
be a
course, right?
preacher. And
Wow.
so there have been some moments in my life. that have been like turning points and things of that nature. Uh, one of
Mm-hmm.
them was I never forget. This is when we were at Northern. This I had got really sick.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had got the flu. My immune
Mm.
system was down really low
Okay.
because you know how they used to man, they used to work us. You probably didn't know this, but my first year there, y'all senior year, my sophomore year, when I got there, Holiday
Yeah.
was like, "Look, you're not strong enough. So look, you go with
Yeah.
Coach. I think it's Taylor, the old track coach. He track the girls track coach.
Yeah.
You go to Coach Taylor in the gym
Yeah.
every day after school. Then you come to practice. So every day after school, I went to the weight room for about an hour, hour and a half with Coach Taylor. Then I went home, ate because we used to practice late. Then I came back for
Yep.
practice, and I think I might not have been eating enough and things like that. And so I ended up getting sick. And I was out of school for a good week
Mm.
or so. And I was missing practices and
Mm.
everything. But the point, you
I
vaguely
vaguely
remember it?
remember
The
this.
point of the
Yeah.
matter was this. I might have missed
Yeah.
one or two games that season because of that. I never forget,
Yeah.
I was laying in my bed in my room. I was, what, 16? And I said to God, I
Mm.
said, God, if you heal me, I'll preach. Because I knew that's what
Wow.
God wanted me to do. And shoot, when I tell you this, and I
Wow.
and I'm serious, and I had never really shared this with many people,
Yeah.
but when I tell you this, it was
Wow.
like that I was better after about a week.
Wow.
And
Wow. The light bulb came
yeah,
on
as soon
too,
as
it
I
sounds
said
like.
that, and so
Ah.
at that time, it's like God had showed me, but you're young, you don't really
Yeah.
you don't sometimes you're not really open to it
Yeah.
because I come from a situation where my father
Of
my
course.
father is a pastor over
Yeah.
30 some years, and my father gave. We wasn't one of them people who made a whole lot of money. He
Mm.
took his own money that he worked in General Motors over 30 some years and put
Mm.
it into the church, put it into other people's lives to help them and things
Yeah.
like that. So to me, being a preacher or pastor wasn't nothing glorious. It was
It
not
wasn't
glamorous.
glamorous
That
in
wasn't the
any
life
shape or
that we
form.
lived. We lived
Right.
in the city like everybody else, and
Right.
we had what we needed,
Right.
what we wanted. My father and mother took care of us, but it wasn't anything like what you
Right.
see today. And so my idea of it
Yeah.
um, was like, well, that's not really what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
now, I
Right.
understand that's what God called me to do. I love doing what I do. It's a blessing. I'm thankful that
Yeah.
God chose me and things of that nature.
Man, it's such again. I didn't know. Obviously, that's why I was asking the age. Obviously, like I said, playing ball with you again, you get to know people, playing in the back court and practice and stuff, and something about you. I'll give it to you. It's something. It was something about you that was, you could say, hey, it's a little different. There's a path that God has him on, and like I said, it's only fitting, obviously, for this day to see you in
Uh-huh.
this capacity years later. I won't tell the
Okay.
people how many years later, but years later
Uh-huh.
to see you in this capacity,
Uh-huh.
which is really good, man. That's
Right.
that's good.
Right.
Yeah.
I go did
Yeah.
you one
No, go
I
ahead.
guess
No, go
for
ahead.
me, one thing that when we talk I said before is that raising your children according to knowledge, meaning, well, we just don't tell our
Mm-hmm.
children, I don't want you to do this because I don't want you to do it, but we give them the reasons why.
Mm-hmm.
We, one, we
Mm-hmm.
tell them, you know what, we belong to God, and God says that we should do things this way. And because we belong to God, we don't want to
Mm-hmm.
displease God, so we want to do as many things right as we possibly can. Then the other side of it is the side
Mm-hmm.
we talk to them about spiritual issues, but then we bring in the reality of life. Well, if you make these certain type of decisions, these are the things that can happen to you. And my mother and father at an
Mm-hmm.
early age always taught us to think about what we're doing before we're doing it. And they taught us that there were consequences for what we did when we did things. So
Yeah.
those things
Yeah.
in my mind stuck with me, and it just was a decision that I made within myself. One prayer that I pray for my
Yeah.
children now is that they have a desire to serve God and that they choose God. That's what I
Yeah.
pray for their that they
Yeah.
would have a desire and a will to choose God, because we can teach people what is right, but at the same time they have to have
Mm-hmm.
the desire to do it. You know what? With
Yeah.
anything in life,
Yeah.
you can tell people you need to run,
Yep.
go lift weights, but if they don't have that desire to do it, they're not going to do it. And
They're
so
not gonna do it.
everything starts with a desire. And so that's what I pray for and ask my children to
Yeah.
have a desire, that they will want to serve God and be obedient to God and do what God would have them to do in their life. And if they can have that, then that can keep them out of a lot of things. But we're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to do things that we shouldn't do, and we knew we shouldn't do, and things like that. But you just pray that ultimately that your
Mm-hmm.
children do what is right. And just for me, it was just a decision at an early age. Uh, yeah, my parents helped me so much, but I realized, because they raised us
Yeah.
according to knowledge. You know what my mom is saying, what my dad is saying, it makes a lot of sense. And so
Yeah.
that was something that really impacted my life. Uh, the other thing was where we lived. You know how Flint was always rough. Flint always been from a young
Yeah.
age. When I
Yeah.
was 9 years old, I seen people go
Yeah.
to prison at early ages. I seen people that I talked to
Mm-hmm.
each and every day, lived in my neighborhood. They were older than me, but they made
Yeah.
bad decisions. And
Right.
so I understood at an early age
Right.
that the street life and all those things will get you in
Mm-hmm.
prison, or you'll lose your life early. And that's not what I wanted for my life.
Yeah. Right. Man, this is good, man. So again, like I said, it's just refreshing to see the light that you guys are showing. You are showing in pastoring, and as well as just like you said, the light that you're showing on YouTube. Again, all of this stuff is necessary, especially in the day that we're in, man. Like you said, it's there's one side of the story, and there's one side of how the narrative is being pushed on
Yeah,
different stereotypes, right? One stereotype, there's a narrative that black men
right,
can't be fathers. Well, by you demonstrating, showing a YouTube video, and just as we're chopping it up now, showing that you are, that
right,
busts that up. But it's not. It doesn't happen unless
right,
we get an
right.
opportunity to show it, right? The scenario about pastors, right? We have an idea that pastors live this, they take the church's money and do all of these type of things, but you just describe very clearly, right? Which I can just look at all the churches in Flint. Yeah, there may have been a few mega
You're
churches
right.
per se, not even mega. They're not mega churches, but churches that have a lot of glam and all that kind of stuff. But then you just see those churches that go at it and are willing to just
Right,
serve people, right? So the narrative sometimes can be played one way. And what you guys are doing, which I like with the YouTube, is you guys, unlike a reality TV show that has a lot of production and a lot of money, they'll film you and then, no shade on it, but they can chop it up, twist it, spin it, make it do all kind of different things, and they're telling the narrative, whatever narrative they want to tell. But in this case, like what you guys do with YouTube, you guys get a chance to actually
right,
control the narrative per se and have more of a
right,
controlled narrative of what you're
right.
sharing, the truth. You're able to demonstrate more truth than it takes
Yeah,
place on other places. So, man, this is good, man. And that's why I wanted to bring you on, man. I think sometimes we again, another misconception again about people who may do YouTube or it's, even though it's a growing
right.
phenomenon right now. A lot of times it's just assumed that people are doing it because they
Uh-huh.
want the clout, right? They're doing it because they want to be a celebrity and all these kind of things. But there's another side of that behind the
Yeah,
grind per se, right? There's another reason why people may be sharing and doing the things, and that's why I really wanted to bring you on the program to give to
yeah,
give the true narrative. Why you guys do it. You're
yeah,
doing it to help
yeah,
people. You're doing it to
yeah.
impact people's lives, man. Would you
Yeah, I
agree?
definitely agree. One thing I wanted to say, what you sparked in me by just saying those things, is that when you're acting in your true
Mm-hmm.
purpose in your life, you're gonna influence others. It's gonna impact people for good. And
Yep.
on top of that, the blessings that come with that may be financial
Come on.
blessings. It's gonna be opportunities to go on
Yeah.
this or that show, or
Yeah.
for you to get more visibility so people can see you and you can grow your brand. Those are just
Yeah.
the things that come.
Yeah. It's like a
Right, it's just
byproduct
gonna
of it,
happen when you're acting and doing uh in your gift and what God has placed inside of you in you to do. then those things are just good things that come along with it. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. I liken it to, because we're both ballers. I liken it to this, right? Obviously, going back to our foundation and
Right.
going back to basketball, going back to
Oh
those
yeah.
practices that we had that was strip. Again, we didn't go into the gym and
Oh
just
no.
scrimmage all the time. We went into the gym and we would do things repetitive. We would do things that were painful. We
Oh
would jump
yeah.
on boxes.
Oh yeah.
We were doing all of these things, and we're sitting here looking at Coach Holiday like, how does this add up to playing ball or whatever the case may be? But what we eventually saw, right, is the
Oh
successes
yeah.
on the court, right? We saw the
Yep.
shots being made after all of the repetitive shooting. So I'm saying all that to say is sometimes we want to
Right.
bypass all of that and get into all what the slam dunks, the crowd, all of that stuff, the stages and all that stuff. But people don't know what goes
Right.
on behind the
I'm sorry,
scenes.
shoot. So yeah, but yeah, he laughing now. But yeah, so those things come when I believe that you're acting in your gift. Because I definitely believe that God has
Yeah,
placed something inside of each and every person that is alive
yeah,
today. They just have to find it. Once they find it,
yeah,
then all your success will come after that. All your success will come after that. Once you
yeah,
find it, another thing is gonna be a hard road. It's gonna be a hard road, and you're gonna go through
yeah,
things. But once
yeah.
you find it, uh, I think you'll be good.
Yeah. Yeah, man, this has been good, man. I really appreciate this, man. Just, again, like I said, getting a chance to chop it up. Of course, we recorded this conversation, but it's tying it all together and just letting everyone know how this all works. There's something
Oh my
behind the
goodness.
grind, per se, behind the scenes of how things really are, and you guys are doing your thing out there. But before we get out of here, man, yeah, I've always wanted to know, back in the day, which team was better, man? Would you go with and this is always I try to give a little fun question, but what team would you go to? You got three options. You got the Detroit Pistons, bad boys. You got the Chicago Bulls era, and you got the Golden State Warriors. What team are you going with if you had to bet
Okay,
all
if
your
I had
money?
all my money, I'm sorry, but I gotta go with Michael Jordan uh and the Bulls.
Okay.
We all love Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons. They had a great impact on
Yeah.
us, uh, being from Flint, them being in Detroit. But like, once Michael
Yeah.
Jordan took it from them, they didn't let it go for
Yeah.
years. Uh, no
What?
looking
No
back.
looking
I
back.
just think that when you take Jordan, their size and everything like that, and you look at Golden State, and
Yeah.
I feel like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are probably the greatest shooting backcourt in NBA history. I believe those two.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen, I mean, two people on the same team that can shoot and score like that, can get their own shot like that. Steph Curry, to have the
Mm-hmm.
handle that he have and the shot that he has, that's impeccable, and
Yeah.
it's not a whole lot of people like him. But when you look at the thing of a Michael Jordan, um, there is there's on Golden State, they don't have anything like him. He's like an oddity, man. He's
Yeah.
extremely different,
Yeah.
and I feel like those teams were so
Yeah.
dominant. They were like physically, they
Yeah.
were so much more imposing. The other key question too we want to throw in here is under which rules would we play? Would we play
Ah.
under the rules
Ah.
where
Because yeah, those
right,
are
you
three
can
different
put hands
eras.
on people? It definitely probably would
Uh-huh.
go to the Bulls then because you can put Pippen on Steph and he can hold them. And I
Yeah.
mean, I believe Steph still go get what he go get because he's a great player. I believe a great player is gonna always do what they do no matter what era
Yeah.
that they're in.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I would probably take Michael Jordan and the Bulls.
Okay, right. And I didn't mean to go any further with the basketball, but since we talking
Right.
basketball, that's our language. What do you think of the new rookie there in
Oh,
Charlotte,
I love
man?
LaMelo Ball. I've been a fan of him since he was in high school. When I seen him,
Okay.
Lonzo and LiAngelo, and I watched him, I said, man, LaMelo then he had something special about.
Even
Oh
as
man,
when he was
he had
the
that
little boy,
he
you
had
you
that
saw
extra
something?
flair, and he did it within the grounds of the
Yeah,
game. He didn't have a flair and make a bunch of
yeah,
mistakes. He had a flair. He was sound. He
yeah,
made the right pass, but he got a different sauce about
yeah,
him, and you see that
yeah,
out of all three of them, he scored the
yeah,
easiest. He like scoring is not
yeah.
hard for him.
It's
Oh
effortless
man,
almost. But you know what I'm
what's up?
noticing too, real quick, and we let's chop it up a little bit about ball. But what I am noticing right now is that as he's balling, I see his brother picking up his game
Oh,
quite a bit as
he
well. It's,
got
it's
to.
amazing. Like it's
He
up.
got to. Shoot, because be honest, the way it's looking, Lamelo about to take over this thing.
Man, he looked pretty sweet. He looked
Hey,
pretty sweet.
he's good,
Looked
man.
pretty sweet.
I like him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I appreciate this conversation, man. I know, this is Saturday morning. Back in our day, Saturday morning was cartoon day. Now it's on
Right,
demand for the kids now. So, we can
right. They in there watching
they can watch it
Prime
whenever they
Video
want to.
now.
Yeah, they can watch it any day of the week. We had to
Right,
wait to
right,
Saturday.
right. But look, I'm thankful, man, because in
So,
our time, we went outside and we played, and that's one thing I'm really gonna push for my kids is play. Play,
yeah.
play. That's how you
Yeah.
develop your body by
Yeah.
running and jumping, falling down. And
Yeah.
that's how you develop yourself
Yeah.
if you're gonna play sports by jumping and playing and running,
Yeah.
sitting down in front of the television. We allow them to do that at times, but no, we
Yeah.
want you to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the time that we grew up in. I wouldn't change it for anything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all good. I mean, it's all good. Drinking from the water hose, playing ball
Right,
on the blacktop, all
right.
that good
Great
stuff,
time.
man.
Great time.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed this conversation, Raleigh, man. Before we get out of here, is there, of course, you are on social media. You guys are on social media. What's again, just for reminder of the people, how can they go out there
Yeah,
and
if
find you
you go
guys?
to
What's the best way
YouTube
to
and
do
you
that?
type in Raleigh, Raleigh, and you can do the and sign and Angie, Angie, it'll pop up. Uh, and that's how you can find us. We have a lot of great
Okay.
content. We've done a whole lot of different
Yeah.
pranks, and we kind of went from the pranks to like the family channel and things of that nature. If you're looking for pranks, we
Yeah.
have pranks. Like I said, one of the best pranks you will want to see is the police prank that Angie played on me. Then the prank we played on the fake proposal and things. Okay, hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay, go ahead. Close the door for me. I'm coming out. I'm coming out. I'll be right out, okay? Okay, but yeah,
Man, look at you,
yeah.
man.
So if yeah, a lot of pranks. If you're looking for pranks, we got pranks. We got a
Mhm.
lot of challenges, sit down talks.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah. Keeping it real, man. All right, fam. So I promise
Oh
you a
yeah.
great conversation today. Give you a little change of the sauce, mix it up a little differently today. Great conversation today with my guy Riley. Man, I'm so excited for this connection that we have, and we'll continue to
Definitely.
stay in touch and continue to chop it up about things like this. We'll talk a lot more offline.
Right,
We won't
right.
go into people
We ain't
with
gonna beat a
our with.
dead horse. Uh,
Right. But yeah, it was really live today, and so the conversation was really good and rich. And again, as Riley mentioned, if you want to follow them, please. Matter of fact, please go out there and follow them. Of course, you will be inspired. There's a lot of good content out there. But until the next time, we're gonna get out of here. But until the next time, I am your host, Sharad Schuler. Till the next time, this is Behind the Grind.
see ya.